feel like it's rampant on social media these days, where you see people posting things like, I'm manifesting good things in my life. And I always thought it was kind of BS, but it turns out that there's actually a lot more scientific backing to it than I thought. And as I've experimented with it myself, I found that there's actually a lot of effectiveness to it. And as I've started to integrate it into my practice, it has actually helped a lot of my clients as well. My name is Sean. I'm a mental health coach. I see 40 plus clients a week and I help them get results like these. I didn't know how to build relationships prior to coaching, and now every trip I go on, I come out with new friends. Coaching helped me find comfort in who I am. The constant internal conflict I had before is now pretty much gone. So today, we're going to break down what manifestation actually is, how to apply it to your life, and also some pitfalls to look out for to make sure that manifestation is working for you rather than against you. So manifestation actually has a lot of different ways of describing it. Personally, my favorite way of describing it is awareness bias, but there are a whole bunch of different names for it. There's Bader-Meinhof phenomenon. I don't know how to say that name, but Bader-Meinhof phenomenon. There's frequency illusion, selective attention. There's all sorts, but whatever you choose to call it, basically it is this idea of holding something in your mind, and by thinking about it a whole lot, it sort of becomes reality. So how does this work? You know when you learn a new word in your life, and all of a sudden you start to notice that word showing up all over the place? That is essentially awareness bias. The way that I understand this is that our consciousness is constantly picking up all sorts of stuff. But if we were to try to compute all of that stuff at once, our brains would explode. And so instead what our brain does is that it sort of disregards the unimportant information. So a good example of this is when you're driving down the road. There's all sorts of information that your brain could be taking in. There's every single line on the road. There's all the trees and rocks and everything along the side of the road. There's a random person walking along the side of the road. But we don't commit all of that to our mind space. And instead, we just focus on the important things. Like if you were driving down the road and all of a sudden you saw a car swerve in front of you, that's something that your consciousness is going to focus in on. And so normally people do this unintentionally, right? Their consciousness sort of focuses wherever it's drawn to. And the idea of awareness bias is that you are doing this intentionally. So instead of just focusing on when the car swerving in front of you demands your attention, you sort of choose where to put your attention. So coming back to the example of learning a new word, when you learn a new word, all of a sudden your consciousness is more aware of that word, and therefore it shows up more in your life because you're just seeing it more. Same thing with like you buy a new car and it happens to be, I don't know, like a Kia or something. And all of a sudden you start seeing Kias everywhere and you never really noticed them before. It's all the same sort of idea. So now that we have a rough understanding of what awareness bias is, now what we want to do is we want to try intentionally applying it in our life. So let's take an example. Let's say that you want to get in better shape. So the first step would just be thinking a whole lot about getting in better shape. And something really sort of weird and fascinating is that scientists have actually done studies where they tell a person to focus on building the muscles in their abs just by thinking about it. And just by thinking about it every day, scientists actually saw the building of muscle. But what if you took it one step further and started watching videos about fitness, started talking to people about fitness, started surrounding yourself with people that were in really good shape? How do you think that that would affect the awareness bias? It shoots it way, way, way up because all of a sudden you're completely surrounded by it and you're starting to see it everywhere, and it's starting to influence the way that you think and act. And by the way, this isn't just theory. I've actively applied this to my life and seen the results of it, and also worked with clients on this sort of thing and seen the results of it. And the way that it works is fascinating because it doesn't always manifest the way that you think it will. So for instance, I've used awareness bias in my career, and it has worked wonderfully. But the things that I thought were going to move the needle forward the most ended up oftentimes not being the thing. Oftentimes some opportunity would come out of left field. I guess that's right field. So some opportunity would come out of left field and move my career forward a tremendous amount. But I still attribute the actions that I was taking as an important part of that equation because they predisposed me to be able to notice the opportunities that came my way. Whereas if I hadn't been actively doing the things that I was doing and involving myself in the places that I was involving myself in, I may have never seen or noticed those opportunities because my consciousness wouldn't have been focused there. So before we transition to sort of the dark side of awareness bias, let me ask you a question. What are some things that you would like to manifest in your life? Or what are examples that you have seen of manifestation working, happening in your life and someone else's life? Leave a comment. Now, awareness bias can also work against you. So a great example of this is people that think that they are ugly and that they will never find a partner, and they're just constantly thinking about that. Now, this is similar to confirmation bias, but it's a little bit nuanced because confirmation bias is about finding evidence to support your already existing beliefs, whereas awareness bias is choosing where to put your focus. So with confirmation bias, if you believe that you are ugly, your mind will find proof to support that hypothesis. Whereas with awareness bias, it is more about if you surround yourself, both internally, your own thoughts, and externally, your environment, with what you want to manifest, you are more likely to notice it in your life. So one of the ways that I help my clients work through this sort of thing when they are suffering with the negative side of awareness bias is I ask them about where they are putting their time and energy. So a good example of this is a lot of my clients will put a lot of time and energy into drama. They're constantly thinking about drama, constantly involving themselves with people that have a whole bunch of drama. And when we start to shift their focus away from the drama towards things that actually matter to them, man, does their life transform. It's crazy to see the change just by shifting their focus. So take a minute right now, either get out a piece of paper, leave it in the comments, open up a document, just think about it, whatever works for you, and just think about what are the things that are really important to you and how could you invest in those things more, surround yourself more with those things. And then the other thing to think about is where are areas that you think that awareness bias may be working against you? Where is it that you are spending a whole lot of your brain power, investing a whole lot of your time in areas that are not serving you? And by the way, if you want to do a quick check-in on your mental health, there's a free 2-minute quiz where you can just get some quick insights into areas that you might want to focus on. Just go to ostaracoaching.com and check it out. I'll leave a link down in the description. And real quick, the reason that I do what I do is to try to help you. Like literally, the person watching this, you. I want to help you. And so if you are really struggling with something, there's a link down below where you can let me know what you would like help with so that I can do more to help with those sorts of things. You can also let me know the things that were helpful about this video for you so that I can do more of that, and the things that were not helpful for you so that I can do less of that. And if you like some of these more woo-woo topics, this video right here helps you to connect more with your feminine energy. So I hope that all this helps and have a great day. Bye.